Hello, brothers of the internet, and welcome to this video of automation, where today I will be attempting to build not a van, a MPV of sorts, which is quick. Now this is a Dodge Caravan Chrysler Voyager type body, or whatever other cars use that name. I think there's a Plymouth something or other. I honestly don't know the name of it, but a Plymouth something or other uses the body shell as well. So I think we're going to make it out of aluminium and turn my volume down because it's stupidly loud. So we're going to have a unitary construction, as all MPVs do these days, unless we have a semi-space frame, which may also work. I believe that is affordable. But we'll start with unitary. We'll go for light. Do we want AHS steel? Now I'm thinking we don't want this to be too stiff, or do we? Would stiffer be more practical necessarily? I would say not. So, you know, stiffness and sportiness, they're just not important in what I'm building. Corrosion resistant steel I think has just as good corrosion resistance. I think they all do, to be honest. Oddly, steel doesn't seem to have ridiculous corrosion, which is very, very strange. No, they mustn't have added it back in yet, but from what I remember, corrosion resistant steel was a point at which corrosion resistance just stopped getting any better, if that makes sense. So anything below it doesn't resist corrosion any better, but if you start going and cheaping out above it, sorry, it does hurt your corrosion. Now, in terms of engine type, I actually want to build a sportier MPV that will go quick. Now, do we want to make it all-wheel drive? That is the question. We've seen understeer around the course when we have front-wheel drives, which I guess is always the case. I think front-wheel drive, but with a good differential, is probably the way to go, even if we're putting like 400 horsepower down. But I don't know, I could change that later. You can have transverse all-wheel drive anyway, so I don't know why I'm thinking about it at this point in time. It's not hugely important. McPherson's strut on the front, I mean, it's not a high-end car. We have to save a bit of money. Well, it is kind of a high-end car, but we have to save a bit of money by going for suspension that's cheaper where we can. We'll go with torsion beam on the back, since, as I did say, I think I'm going with front-wheel drive at this point. If not, we can go with something else, like solid axle coil, but I don't know, really. A V6 wouldn't actually be that unrealistic for this type of car. So, we could go with a V6. We could also go with an inline 5. I'm thinking an inline 5 would be an odd choice to put in an MPV. But it wouldn't be impractical. It would be about as practical as an inline 4. Or how about a transverse inline 6? I mean, you know, it depends. It really depends on how big the engine bay is. But if I just go back to the body, it's not a tiny body. So we might actually be able to fit a transverse inline 6 in, obscure as it is as an engine layout. I'm not going to make it a 3-litre V6 as a default is. It's going to be more like 2 litres like the Lexus is 200 had, just mounted transversely. But we'll have to see how it goes. I'll go dual overhead cam, 4 valve per cylinder. It's still less camshafts than if it had a V6, remember, so it's not like I'm going crazy with money here. And a valve lift. That adds a lot of money, no. When we're building an affordable car, I generally stay away from that, because it's just not worth the extra. We'll go with cast iron internals, but I might change that. And wait, where am I? It's fitting perfectly fine. It's showing this kind of green line here, which means I think it's a bit full. I think it means for length, but that's fine. We're not even making it this big, as I was saying. So, you know, we are not going to have any problem fitting this engine into a car. Should be very easy to service and everything. 1999 cc's. I've got a very high bore bias. Yeah, it's the same size as a 4-cylinder, but remember, we can rev this to the moon. We can have an ultra-high revving MPV. I think by this stage, though, if I am having a 2-litre, it has to be a turbo. We'll go with valve timing, sure. And a turbocharger, indeed we. Do we want performance? Yes, I would say so. Over fuel economy. I mean, an MPV is never going to be extremely fuel economical, so let's see. We want multi-point electronic fuel injection. It's just direct injection never tends to be worth it in my experience. Unless perhaps you're building a supercar or a very high-end sports car, then it would be worth the difference in price. Usually multi-point is a better compromise, though. You get most of the performance. I'll try a single, and if that doesn't give me the power I would like, I'll go per cylinder. And a standard intake. We'll go for regular fuel, so it can be used all across the world, unless your fuel is genuinely stuck in the 1800s or something, then you can't buy this car. I want the fuel mixture as lean as possible to make sure it's efficient to run and it doesn't have horrible miles per gallon. We'll want bypass valves to keep the exhaust as small as reasonably possible, as the exhaust can get massive on this type of vehicle, remember. We'll go with a good catalytic converter, a baffled muffler, and no second muffler. We want some noise to get through to remember it's sporty, but we don't want it to just be without mufflers, because that would just give it no refinement at all. Look at all that turbo lag. I mean, I'm sure I can reduce it. And already, yo, 179, 80. Yes, this is nowhere near tuned, though. I could probably get 300 out of this, and I guess that's a number I would be happy with, because as we've seen, power isn't everything. Actually, ball bearing, I wonder if that's got us a bit more power. I think it's mainly engine, turbo lag and engine response that it improves as opposed to actual power. And that is our engine for now. Wait, where's the RPM? Can we get an extra horsepower or two? No, not at the moment. But it's an inline 6 as well, so we'll get lovely smoothness from this front-wheel drive driveline. Yeah, I mean, it's odd, but there has been some saloon car in America, actually, and it did have a transverse-mounted inline 6, so it has been used before. It's not like I'm doing things which would never be developed in the real world. It's just such an unconventional, obscure way of doing things, but it can be done. We'll move that back just a little. Do we want... I'd say we want that out. Want to give it kind of a sporting attitude, almost like a NASCAR, but in an MPV. Yeah, the NASCAR grew up and had children, basically, but he still wants to race. What's it? Lightning McQueen out of Cars, but is an old man with kids. I think that's better, yeah. Yes, look at that. Now it's just like a long estate, even. I'm really getting the NASCAR pedigree out of it now. I say that. Probably not. Anyway, I don't know. I think it looks weird now. I've made it look very weird. It looked okay. MPVs have that inherent weird lookingness to them, but I think I just made it look worse. Right, now that might not be so bad. Obviously, when there's no front end on it, it can look weird just because of that. Oil car slot, what do we want? Let's paint it in green. Oh, for some ridiculous reason, those parts paint separately from all the car. Are they classified as bumpers or something? No? We could have kind of a nice two-tone thing going on here. If they're actually colour changeable. Ah, there we go. It's called, it's the trim. Barney the Purple Dinosaur. Is that what this is? No. I mean, I slightly messed up the colour scheme, but it looks better than it did. At one point. We'll move through here. I can't go with all-wheel drive, apparently. Oh, right. That's okay. It'll be the rear suspension type I've got. We'll be fine with front-wheel drive for now, though. It may ask me to change the drive line anyway. Not the drive arm, the suspension, sorry, anyway. So we'll have to see about that. We'll go with some dual clutch shifting. No, we won't. Yes, we will. I don't know. Depends on what the market wants. I'll try and sneak a differential on a bit later, but not now. We want radials. Definitely not vintage cross-ply on this. We want some, I'd say, sport compound. We want it to be competitive, but we don't want to go with semi-slicks because it's not that ridiculous. It's still a road car at the end of the day. An MPV road car at the end of the day. 225. Come on. You can go up. There we go. Wait, so alloy wheels as well. Have a higher trim line, let's say. 2-piston front brakes. Not to go too crazy, just enough to keep this thing from flying off the course. Maybe I'll go with 3-piston. As I say, it is a sports car. It depends on what it needs ultimately to slow down. Ooh, we need downforce. We need downforce because it's a super van. And how many seats should we have? I don't know. I think personally we should go with the old style of 2-2-3. Actually, no, 2-2-2. I don't know. I'd say that's probably the most comfortable option, but what will sell on the markets, it really depends. Go on a standard infotainment and interior, as well as electric variable power steering, because everyone seems to love that these days. And we need launch control. Try and keep those wheels under control. We can have some advanced 10 safety, and lower that if necessary. We can have, we don't want active comfort suspension. Hydro pneumatic. You know what? This is weird. I don't think anyone's done a hydro pneumatic MPV before. But if a Citroen C5 can have it, I mean, it can't be that far an alien technology. So I'm going to give it a try. Semi-active sway bars as well. And we'll go for comfort primarily. But I'll try and sporty it out a bit later on, while still retaining a lot of the comfort if I can. And yeah, it appears about where you would want it to. I think I'll target Family Premium because they're a bit richer than Family Utility Premium at the moment. So that can, and the other bit of market potential can easily be made up. So what, do they actually want sportier suspension though? Oh yes, they do. 77. And yeah, as I said though, primarily comfort is what I'm going for. So it might ride a little higher off the ground than it necessarily needs to. And that's fine. Yeah, the market statistic is dropping. That's something we have to bear in mind. But it seemed, I don't know. Come on. Like, it's not, the market statistic drops with the wide height, but not by that much. As I say, I want it to be low and sporty. So I think that's about as low as I realistically want to go. Although, as I was seeing with the minivan, other old 1940s minivan thing, sometimes suspension can change how these things are. Yeah, I need to flare those to fit wider tyres. It was going to happen sooner or later. And where was I? Other suspension. Double wishbone may enable it to sit lower. Torsion beam as well on the rear. That might be hurting because it's not fully independent. So actually, maybe if I try McPherson strut and semi-trailing arm. I honestly get the feeling though, it's the fact that it was kind of non-independent suspension at the back. They call it semi-independent, but there is a link between the two. Whereas trailing arm, there's no link between the left and the right, so it's worth a look. comfort. Is that even higher? I may be onto something though. I may be onto something, so come on, shift through here. So how low will it go? 209.1. Okay, I see that now. It could have just been the 1940s. No. Okay, so I do notice that though. It's 10 millimeters taller. Yeah, sure, not the tallest amount, but it has to sit 10 millimeters taller with this suspension on the back than it does with the semi-trailing arm. So that's interesting. How about solid axle coil? I don't believe this does it any favours. Believe me, but I'm giving it a try. I believe my father's old car had this. So it is. And where are you? Yeah, that is the same. That is the same, I believe. But then, if we find wherever that menu was, which I've lost, semi-trailing arm, which is the, yeah, that one definitely. I just had to check because my mind's going a bit. Yeah, and you can lower it a bit more, so that is a better suspension technology. It doesn't seem like the front struts are what's hurting it then, in that particular respect. What else have we got then that we could use? We've got double wishbone, multi-link and push rod. And leaf springs. Leaf springs I don't think will help at all in the slightest. So we can try double wishbone. Although again, the Honda CR-V, was it, that had McPherson's strut front and double wishbone rear. So it's an unconventional setup, but it can be done, and it has been done before. We can go look through. I guess basically a budget version of McPherson, not McPherson's strut, a budget version of what you call it on the back. Multi-link, that's it. Yeah, again, maybe, just maybe it is the struts then on the front now, restricting it. Because I tried to lower it more and it wouldn't work. Can we go double wishbone now and lower it even more? Or is it just hitting the lower point? Oh no, 189, so yes. The struts had basically hit their lowest point, by which I was hitting. How about semi-trailing arm? It's such a weird thing that I didn't think I would be fighting, but I somehow am. Either way, having better front suspension does not hurt round corners because your car leans onto the front wheels when you brake into a corner. So that is a very important attribute to spend the money on. So if we had to buy double wishbones there, I wouldn't be too displeased with that as a compromise. Interesting. So it depends. We have the, they do restrict for double wishbone. It seems like semi-trailing arm and McPherson's strut is a good budget option. If I have to go lower, I have to go, wait, was that? I'm just trying to get these fragments of information together. So I think I have to go with double wishbone all around. And that is going to be a pricier thing. So I'll try struts and semi-trailing arm, which do give me a slight advantage on lowness over torsion beam. And McPherson strut. Testing, where are you? Gone 209.1, there we go. And I left it at the highest ride height, didn't want to do that. So, what do we have here? Comfort, normal, 78.7. Normal is 78.7, okay. That doesn't look too bad, actually. It looks a little high off the ground. I would lower it if I could. So 78.7, but no, they just don't like that, okay? I can deal with it. If that's what you guys want, who are buying the car, then so be it. I mean, you just have to have something that rides a little higher and doesn't quite corner as well. It depends. The market might change, though, and then I'll be stupid for doing this. Although, it was kind of a good investigation, because I didn't suspect lowering an MPV could be this difficult. Although, I guess if I wanted it to sit lower and be comfortable and everything, a suspension upgrade would be a good way to go about it. And what happened to my voice there? I thought that was 50 miles per gallon. Yay! No, 27.2 miles per gallon, though. That isn't half bad for a sportier MPV. Wait, what does it do 0 to 60 in? Do we know that much? The thing weighs 2 tons, and that is not an acceleration concern, because we'll be able to get the torque up fairly easily to actually make that a non-issue. But we want to get the brakes. We want to get it slowed and into corners. So 79.9. Okay. Oh yes, they actually really like having a high-end differential on it. That is good. So it's probably going to cost them quite dearly, but if we look at the market graph, but they're at least enjoying the differential, you know. Again, what do we have on here that we could use? Ooh, I'm thinking these Maserati lights might work. No. You don't work. Okay. Why did I think you would work? That was a mistake. Right, that'll have to do for the time being. It's a prototype. Because I'm lost for design cues, really. I guess I'm just not that inspired. So, what do we want? We want a bigger intercooler. Me says. Even if we don't make 417 horsepower, the intercooler's performance, let's say, could still be benefited from. So, 182. Oh dear. We don't know if we're going to make the power. I wanted the 200 horsepower. Will we be able to? Come on. I mean, did I say 200? No, I want 300 horsepower. So, 7,500 RPM I see now. We need more RPMs. We need more RPMs up here, so... There we go. It'll rev to 9,700, which is good. Probably one of the benefits of using an inline 6-cylinder engine. You just have a higher RPM without having to use any fancy components. Because the pressure is spread out over more cylinders. Although I've seen inline 4s that can get revving quite high. With, I don't know how much parts. 212 now. Just look at how flat that power is though up there. I mean, that is not bad at all. I'm thinking if I make that to 100, maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to then adjust the compression to match. No, I won't be able to. That was a foolish misconception I made. 208. Oh dear. So it is making solid power. Like where it makes the power, it is making it in a very good way. But then there's the turbo lag, there's the turbos themselves. Right, so there's these things. Try upping the compressor and the turbine, and then I will make them lower, and I'll see what I can draw from it. But I can only get so much from an engine. That's just how it always works. So don't go expecting ridiculous things from this. I can probably get a good engine at the end of it after much work, but it will never be perfect. Mainly because I'll criticise it too much. Oh dear. Power starts dropping. But you see that? I managed to make the turbine to its biggest size, and then I just dropped the turbine size until I started dropping power. And that worked quite well, kind of reducing lag but keeping my power. And now I'm doing the same thing with the compressor, just getting them at that right point to create the power and the torque without any significant losses. Like, I might lose a horsepower or two. I mean, that is kind of inevitable when we're talking about the fine tuning like this. But, you know, it's about getting the best balance that I can. Family Premium is liking this. They don't seem disappointed in my power at all. I wonder if they like all-wheel drive, because remember, now I've changed the rear suspension, I can put all-wheel drive on this. No. I mean, generally markets don't like all-wheel drive. It's because it adds a lot of weight, I think. But they just generally don't like it. Now, we also have a platform which can be modified. We have all of the semi-space frame. We could try. Yep, they seem to like that. So how does it change for cost as well? We have this. 81.2, 82%. Okay. Yeah, I would say that is cheaper and better performing in the markets. And is it lighter? It might be a bit lighter. Just let me look quickly. Yeah. So 1995 to 1945 is about 50 kilograms lighter. Not the biggest amount in the case of a 2-ton MPV, but it's an advantage I will take nonetheless, and take it quite happily. 6 cylinders of joy. Just look at that. Glorious turbo setup. Shall we hear it again? See how it sounds? I might have to make it bigger, actually. Oh, wait. Have I made a mistake? I've just thought, actually. As I was saying earlier, the turbos, they could end up requiring massive exhaust, but I didn't make that exhaust bigger at all. I quite like that engine. It sounds very smooth to me, as so an inline 6 should. Transversely mounted inline 6 in this case. A very strange powertrain. You know, I would drive this though, you know. If I had to choose an MPV and I saw one with a inline 6 mounted transversely, I wouldn't want to refuse it unless the reliability was terrible or something. And they were built by monkeys on an assembly line with old Victorian hammers, which wouldn't necessarily be a good sign of quality. Family Premium. Transmission. That was what I was meaning to get to. These can sometimes help or hinder your market. So here you'll see they prefer advanced automatic over everything else, even a dual clutch. They just don't like it. They just want the shifting to be done by itself. There we go. So you'll see there's a small market loss if we go to a 6-speed. Now, if we have a 6-speed advanced automatic, we could perhaps save a little money by having the adjustment come in just right to save us. So I think 6 speed is probably a good balance, and There we go. We've gained a bit back. Come on, 85.1 there. And this is working out, I'd say, quite well. Although 6 speeds are kind of obsolete now because everyone's moved to 7 speeds and above, but so that's what the customer wants, that's what the customer's going to get. I'm not one to complain. Remember, my target is 300 horsepower though, and I'm sure I will make that, even if I have to make the engine bigger to get it. But there is one more trick actually, or 2 more tricks I missed, and they are both existing on the turbocharger. I will probably get horrible turbo lag from using them, but that's just something that will have to wait to be seen. Ooh, and now I'm getting loads of power from this part, which before wasn't giving me any power. I say part, I guess configuration, tuning element, more than it is a part, but nonetheless. 90 on cam profile now. We are revving the engine higher. It is hitting over 240 horsepower. All of that power. Do we need a better intercooler? Yes, we do. I think this is the exhaust coming into its own, you know. As I was saying, bigger exhausts are preferable. So, do we want that? I don't know. Again, does it sound good? Yeah, sounds good. When it's over the power area of the engine, we can rev it even more so. The thing is, if I can get the revs up, I can make more power. That's what I want to do. I want to get the revs up, and I want to make more power with it. 8800 RPM. No, 88,000. That would be quick. That would be ridiculous. That would almost be over 9,000. And yeah, good luck with that happening. Do I want 5 valves per cylinder though? I've presented myself with a very tempting opportunity. My mind's kind of broken. It's going to take more engineering time, okay? And tooling costs and all the rest of it. But I'm guessing this isn't going to be your everyday engine since it's already making over 240 horsepower. It's probably going to be a more special unit. And, you know, 5 valves per cylinder isn't an alien technology. In the early 2000s, a few Volkswagens did actually use the technology, just standard Volkswagens, I mean, not even particularly hot hatchback versions of them. They were just trying to get an edge on their competitors, presumably. So, is that worth the extra? I don't know, does it change the sound? Should I go through the sound again? Just so much editing. I don't know if it's worth it. It is! I just saw how much was to be had from the exhaust now. It is worth it. And it is a massive exhaust as well. Well, I'm not going bigger than 102 millimeters. You'll have to break that into 2 exhausts even, it's so massive. Because one exhaust with that much kind of potential of size behind it. Either way, that should be potential to increase my power output some more without turbo lag. And, you know, anything but turbo lag, basically. 269. No. You might have per cylinder. You may have per cylinder now. I have decided. By my great hand of goodliness. Will it? No. That's still not helping with the cam profile. Ooh, it can do this higher. Radiator. Intercooler, sorry. 200, almost 300 horsepower. I'm liking this. And all these revs as well. So it looks like I can keep on going and keep on going, but I don't really need to. I won't lie. I don't need to keep pushing up the intercooler until things happen with it that even I can't explain. Until the intercooler absorbs the entire world around it because it's so big. Come on. Oh! I really had problems there. It's like I lost all my work with just one click. And no one wants that to happen. Oh dear, no, no. You will make more power. You will make more power. You will not be lost. What I'm amazed is the family premium market doesn't really mind it. They're like, okay, Dad, get that 300 horsepower monster of a car. Well, it's like no one's showing any resistance against it. Maybe it's because it's competing with the Audi RS6 and whatever else, and I'm just not realising it. But it does seem strange that no one would put up any resistance. Okay, there is a bit of resistance, I guess you could say, but not much at all. Because the market has stayed virtually unchanged. And if anything's changed, it's probably literally the cost of the components going up. 85 on there. I could lower the cam profile without losing power, so I realise, so compression will change. I think 285 should be very feasible. I'll try adjusting the other bits of the turbo. Ooh. I could move that back one more stage. And move that to rev it higher, okay. I think we can do this. It will take a bit of power. But then if I can gain the power back, I'm fine with it. Oh dear, it's lowering the RPM and everything. I'm not content with you anymore. So that'll do, 56.5. Ooh. That's the thing though. It's like turbine gives me more power than compressor takes, if that makes sense. So if we lower compressor, but then raise turbine, we can actually get more power. That's quite an important flick actually, because I want it to rev as high as possible, so I don't want it to flick down to 8200 max RPM. That can go down to make it rev better, because why not? It's a better balance. Oh dear. 287. Intercooler. 835. No, I'm not content with that. Wait, it's going to be begging, isn't it? No, it's not actually. I indoctrinated the exhaust into being that size. Let's hear it rev actually after I fix the RPM of the limit. Look at this. I didn't think it would be revving over 9,000, but so it is. Imagine that though. That's like quite a few show-off points, isn't it, for the neighbours? My dad has a car that revs over 9,000. Oh dear. So, there we go. The turbos kick in about, I would like to say 3,500. It's actually slightly after that. But that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of usable power because of how high it revs after that point. Do we have straight through here? Will that get us more power? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, so have I got cam profile? How could I only think of this again now? Sometimes cam profile does give you more. Wait a minute. Where's the power and where's the torque? I'm thinking. Oh, yeah. I'm just getting confused with the power and the torque for a moment. It's okay. I feel pretty sure power is the red curve, although I'm almost certain it isn't. Although it must be at that. I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's just displayed in a very confusing way. And I don't even know how I dragged in that sense that it's kind of goofed up now. So why does a compression so easily find ways to mess it up? I think now the engine is virtually complete though, so I'll stop working on it because I'm 10 horsepower off what I'm targeting. Not my initial target. I thought I might get 400 or whatever, but I didn't know too much what to expect. I'm happy with what I've achieved. So, yeah, we can move on from it. It looks like some kind of SUV, actually, with these bumpers. I've just realised, some late 90s SUV. But we're not going for that aesthetic. What else do we have to adjust? Do these massively change things now? No, not really. How about a 5-speed? We can't really get away with that anymore. So 165.8. But they want it to go faster as the engine is faster, which makes perfect sense to me. And they want the higher economy gear. Again, makes perfect sense to me. 25, wow, it's making 25 miles per gallon from a 2-ton MPV with almost 300 horsepower. That is not too bad, actually. I mean, you have to factor in the limits of the vehicle. 86.2 there. It seems to be enjoying beefier brakes with more slowing potential. Quite a bit. It'll need some more suspension retweaking as well to go with all of these upgrades. Would it want any less tyres, I wonder? It could. I'm just thinking though, this isn't actually that far off the Honda Odyssey Elite V6's spec. Because that engine had just under 300 horsepower. Now, just under 300 horsepower from a naturally aspirated, I think 3-point-something litre V6. Now, we have a 2-litre heavily turbocharged engine making the same amount of power, practically. Does it really matter, though? They're both different ways of making the same power for fundamentally the same market. And we can actually... Why didn't I think of this before? Drum brakes on the back. Probably because they'd do so terribly on markets. Or would they? 87.7. 88.2. 88.3, okay. 88.1. And we could go with 3-piston on the back, perhaps. 88.2. Yeah, 2-piston on the back then. You can go up here. 88.2. Come on, find that magic 88.3 number I was looking for. There we go. No, you don't like any more braking. Yes, there's overdrive. The market asked specifically for overdrive, so I gave them overdrive so they'll get better economy. That's why they've got overdrive. Yes, they like that. They like that downforce. Ooh. Seats, I forgot to add these properly earlier. 88.7. 89.9. 87.9. Okay. Do they want it to be limousine-like, I wonder? Oh, I can't add third row until I've added second row, okay. I think they want kind of a 6-seater, if that makes sense. Oh, so a +2 would be good. 89.9. Yeah. But I could save money, but they wouldn't like it. Okay. Then we have the interior. It is family premium, so at the cost of kind of budgetary things, we can make it score a lot better by having a premium interior. 95. No, they want a premium infotainment. Premium sat-nav. Premium infotainment is what they want. Given the price of premium sat-nav and premium infotainment, I think I'll just give them premium sat-nav, to be honest. Cheap out on them. But in this case, it's well worth it. Well worth it, sorry. Electric? No. I just wanted to see. Kind of see gains there. Because, again, they don't see a need for launch control, which I find odd, but, you know. With it being kind of a powerful front-wheel drive, you'd think they would want launch control, but they just don't. So 98.2 on the markets. I think that's doing quite well. If only I could do better budget-wise. It's not the cheapest vehicle in the world. We could maybe save a bit on safety. No. 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 Unless safety is really expensive between advanced and standard. No, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the change. We've got hydro pneumatic, comfort, normal, sport. They actually prefer comfort now, which is interesting. Utility does fairly well. Off-road does very well, but do you really want to drive that in a sporty manner? And race? Nope. Kind of gets into a muscle car, though. Progressive we could go to, but they wouldn't like progressive. Okay, try progressive with gas monotube and adaptive dampers. Or no, gas monotube dampers then. So that's 97.2 and 84.2. That is interesting. It must be said, it saves a decent amount of power, but it has... not power, it saves a decent amount of cost, but it has a market effect. It's quite negative. I think, yes, I think I would go with these. So that has no effect on the market in particular. And I think, does standard work better? It can sometimes. No. Okay. The market did like hydro pneumatic, but I have to keep costs down here and there. I think if I make it better for suspension though, I can do that elsewhere, and it can probably become lower and sportier at the same time. So what are we looking for? We're looking for sportiness, yes. So double wishbone would not be hurtful. As we see, family premium. Family utility premium coming up as well. The cost difference is quite small between double wishbone and McPherson strut. That can be mentioned. We could go with torque and beam, but that would probably lower it. Indeed it would. And with coil. They'll make it slightly higher than torsion beam though. Double wishbone. Again, they like. Multi-link they like. Pushrod they don't like as much. Wait, pushrod is more affordable than multi-link? Okay. But I might as well just go with double wishbone front and rear in that particular respect. Double wishbone front and rear would still be sporty enough. Could still get lower enough. And what about the sportiness value though? There's just no sportiness to it. So comfort is okay. I could go with hydro pneumatic if I could get cheap enough suspension, but I don't know about that becoming a thing. I guess I'd have to if it goes how I want it to. Pushrod, so 6.9, 7.2. Multi-link is somehow more sporty though than pushrod. That's what throws me off. And then we've got the other bits. It's never going to be the most comfortable vehicle in the world because it's an MPV and it's got the high centre of gravity and all that comparatively. But if we go with hydro pneumatics under the suspension, we can somewhat improve it. So, comfort. Are you going to pop up menu? Where are you? Where are you when I need you? Ah, it's appearing when I don't need it, but it's not appearing when I need it. So, it's not very sporty, but we've made it more comfortable. How about air suspension? Could we go with some kind of air suspension system? If we go with comfort again, it's 57.2. It's hard to beat 60.3 of hydro pneumatic. Active sport. So 60.3. Even with adaptive dampers, these are struggling. Yeah, hydro pneumatic for comfort is pretty much unbeatable, actually. So if we lower this comfort system a bit, yes, it's going to take a hit. Should the sportiness improve, though? I think it will be better. Yes, it will be. And it's not really affected. Ooh, it's actually making it better on the markets, even. So that's something. There we go. So a slight lowering with this type of double wishbone front multi-link rear has actually made it better in terms of the market as well. Although the budget takes a hit, what else can I do about it really? Passive sway bars seem to be a choice, other than active, which are a lot more expensive. Yeah, I don't think active are worth the extra money, to be honest. So it might tip a lot into corners, but then we have to remember it's an MPV. So I've done what I can, but there's only so much I can do before it'll just become unbearable to drive for long distances. We have 3-piston brakes, 4-piston. Do they help? No. How about 2 pistons but made bigger? I don't know. Wait. You've got solid discs on the rear and vented discs on the front. That seems sporty enough. We have sport compound. Maybe they want, yeah. They want medium compound. Again, it's just little things like this. You come back to them and you can change them and they will get you some extra points in the markets. That actually hurts me on the markets, but it gains statistics on the pricing. I'll go with hard long life, I think, because especially when I make them wider, they will kind of become a better choice. I think, at least. If we can go with 235s to put that 300 horsepower down, that sounds about right to me. Well, actually, no, we're on sport. We're on hard tyres, aren't we? We're not on We're not on a better compound, so... no, they're happy with 235s, okay. 111? Are you... 111.7? 111.7? And then I'm guessing after that point it goes down. 235. Nope. That is about what I want from this car. Honestly. So we can put the change the shape of doodah on. Change the shape of doodah, and we can make these things wider. The rear is about as wide as it'll go. The front can be made wider. So with some tweaking, we get these wheels out a bit more. 30 on this case, maybe. And do the same on the rear. Maybe a little wider. Is that going to work? 50? I guess so. And that is how you make a sports car. No, it's not. That's how you make a slightly sportier MPV. We have decent market statistics now. How would they change? Is it still the same? Do they like off-road tyres? It was worth it on the off. It was worth a try on the off chance. Still, that's worth bearing in mind. That might not help it, but you know, it's an MPV. People are going to have to use these every day, so it has to have practical tyres that will serve a practical purpose. Try a dual clutch now. Again, the power level has changed and everything. They still seem to prefer the advanced automatic. Manual 6-speed. Is that going to do anything? No, it's not. Sequential, no. They only like that. Do they like all-wheel drive? You know what? I think they like it. They might like it more than before, but we're still not a fan of it by any means. We can go with open differential. An open differential, rather. Not open differential, just an open differential is how you're supposed to say it. 111.6, 111.5, 0.7. They do see the advantages of a differential. It's about me, I guess, choosing between open, geared and electric. Electric costs a lot, so I think geared, personally, is probably the best option for them. They don't want vicious, they would rather have an open differential than a vicious differential. And a geared limited slip differential it's just good mechanical engineering, so it should still help us get around some corners, you know. Even if it's not as good as the electric differential, it's not a Formula 1 car, so I think we'll get away with it in this case. We'll go with something else on the engine. I said I could do this off camera. Is there anything blindingly obvious? Ah, boost. I'll try cranking up the boost to about that 17.8. And then see... no. We don't want to change our chassis type. So... Are you going to do magic things? Engine, give me more power. No. No more boost. No more boost for you. I'm thinking this car could be Cedric's brother. Whatever it's called. Dedrick? No. Intercooler. Will you give me more power? No, you won't give me more power. You're always so mean, Intercooler. I beg you for power and you never give it me. Seriously. AR ratio. I struggled to say it, but we could try adjusting that. Oh, I've just realised actually I could perhaps raise that and then mess with the compression, because that sometimes works. Right, there we go. 323. That was quite easy, actually. I thought there was going to be a lot more to it than just easy as pie. But it was easy as pie. So I did use the easy as pie method. Right. I don't want to actually raise the cam profile too high, as it just kills the mid-range performance of this engine. I want to raise it to be honest, 90 seems like a good strong point for it. And beyond that, it does just... Beyond that, the point here just dips and it to an unhealthy level, actually. Come on. So, do you want more exhaust? No. I was going to reward you, but not anymore. And do you want a bit more boost? I was going to reward you, but not anymore, no. Wait. Just time to find whatever that was. Ignition timing, yes. I think if I adjust the ignition timing, maybe I could get a bit more power. Ignition timing can go lower, maybe. And then this can go up. No. So, what else do we have? We had, what else? Ignition timing. I'm sorry, my mind is just being so weird today. Right, I think this will have to do. So much turbo lag, but it'll do. It's close enough. What do we have? Oh yeah, hard long life tyres. Gearing, that's it. That's what I need to do. I can get this to work. So I will. Believe me. And 110.7. Wow. The market's really bringing out its potential today. Just all the sportiness and the hydro pneumatic suspension and premium interior makes it quite comfortable as well, actually. So I think we should be able to go tighter as well, actually, within the gearing. 7.6. 7.7. It's just so hard to find that point where I want it to be. I wonder if I move these gears back. So that's 110.8. Is that a good number for the markets? They're just so close. Utility Sport Premium and Family Premium. 7.4, there we go. A good tight ratioed auto box will help us use that gearing. So what do we need? Come on. You want a manual, don't you? Spill the truth. Spill the truth before we basically make you express our opinion. So I think if I go with 32 or 31, I can even get 7.3 out of it. Well, for a tall, top-heavy MPV, that is not half bad acceleration. comfort. And then we'll obviously need to do what we do. Am I making it better? I don't know. It's going greener, it seems, when I'm doing this. As long as the numbers don't fly down. Oh, it went up again. It popped up to 110.7 from a lower number. That was interesting. Either way, 264. Will that help? Interesting. It presumably it acts like it doesn't care, but it does improve the sportiness. So active, off-road, no. Semi-active and active are about the same statistically. Semi-active allows me to lower it a lot, I notice. Maybe the others would, I don't know. All I am is the guy who lowers cars with no shame. And I've forgotten, I could change the wheels. I've completely forgotten about that. I'm sorry. I really didn't know. Well, no, I mean, I didn't, like, remember. Why me? Right, so... what else do we have in here with the wheels? We have the size and the colour, but I don't really want to change the colour. I never normally do. So 110.5. And yeah, making them bigger doesn't really have an advantage, so they say. But I don't know, does it? It'll make it more sporty. So they seem to be happy with that, but that's just because I basically conditioned it into being that way, I think. If I go with 21s, no, 20s, they are pretty big for MPV wheels. We can go and perhaps later do something with it. Medium compound. Sport compound. No. Now on medium compound tyres, we should theoretically be able to go narrower, which will oddly improve sportiness. I'm not sure about comfort. Should improve comfort as well. And 110.6. 110.9. Okay. This is a bit strange. The wheels are not really any more wide now than a normal MPV. 110.8. Oh dear. So wait, 100. Why does it think 195s are enough? In which twisted world does this crazy MPV only need the same tyres as, say, a Eco Bias Ford Fiesta might need, for example? We have less sportiness. I'm not sure if that's because I moved them out and it doesn't tip over as much now, and then somehow that's less sporty. Right, it's content with medium compound tyres of very narrow description. I guess if there's less grip available, you can push it hard. But yeah, I was just saying they're narrow. But you didn't seem to be content with that answer. So let's try increasing brake size or something. 205s. Right. 110.8. 110.6. You are fine, actually, there. Rear tyres. The brakes suffer. So it thinks 215 medium. I agree. Try and increase brake size, which I kind of need to do because I reduced the tyre width from what it was. We'll go make these bigger, which apparently makes comfort better as well. Somehow. Free piston. Oh no, I've got it. Vented discs. Vented discs ought to solve the problem. No, they don't. Yeah, sometimes it just says brake fade. I just leave it. I mean, it doesn't make much difference to me. The comfort's a bit low. The sportiness is a bit low. The drivability is a bit low. But people love the car anyway. They think it's very prestigious. And it's very, very safe. The miles per gallon is terrible. And it's impractical. It's not very good at doing utility. And it's heavy. Yeah, but people still love it. It's very prestigious. Yeah, everyone wants this badge on their car. Everyone wants an MPV in their life. Everyone wants an MPV, a front-wheel drive MPV in their life. Right, so we can have a lip, sure enough. The NASCAR-inspired dream, that was. Not really NASCAR-inspired, though. We don't use inline sixes that I know of. So that's something different. You can go and fit on your spot. The headlights, they need to be chucked out in favour of something I would say more modern. Ooh, these ones. No, they are just not going to work. Ooh, I've had an idea. My ideas are not very good usually, but I've still had an idea. And I intend to go ahead with it. So you can get duplicated. I was actually intending on having a smaller one of these next to it, but a big one works. Just look at this. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous I kind of like it. It is what it should strictly be called from now on. What grills do we have that might look semi-sensible on it? I will fix the bodywork, don't worry, so it's not all like this. Oh dear. Or like that, for that matter. And can this go across? I'm just wondering if I could kind of, instead of another pair of them, have one of these grills. Not grills. Is it grills? I don't know. My mind's kind of broken at the moment. And lower these. Ooh. How are they? It's not what I would call an MPV of sorts that you would want to own. But hey, it's very, very prestigious. We must remember that. It's probably the most prestigious MPV in the game. We have to put some chrome on it. Plastic. Do we want to plasticize a chrome? I don't know, honestly. It's been too long for me to even remember what chrome is. Although I like chrome. So I lie. There we go. Up. And that should be a good place to mount this. Bring it forwards. Yay. Just look at that. Right, now the next thing to do is to find a... Next thing to do is to find a pair of indicators that we can place on it after dechroming it. Carbon fibre because sportiness. Indicators. You can go on. No, you won't fit, as I would hope you would fit. These ones, maybe. There we go. Do. We need to paint the car now. All car slot, we can make it plastic. Let's make it... Let's make it a new paint or something. Oh, actually, what's this? I think I made the rental car in this colour. And bring the shine up just a bit. Look at that. It's kind of a greeny colour. I'm not going to say I'm satisfied with the design because I'm not, but it'll do. It'll do the job. I need a badge. We need a badge. Wait. So what do we have here? Many badges. How about this one? It's kind of a strange badge, as it's a strange car, I guess. And we can do the same with the back. So you can get a badge of your very own. We need some tail lights. And there's only so much you can do with a standard one. Ooh! These look like older BMW lights, but I think they're gonna work, you know. Oh, I think they have to be mounted almost flat for them to work. So they're off it. Would these work? Probably. Yeah, let's go with some really ugly whiter tail lights. Move them a bit straighter up. These are like the super lights I used on the what's it, just a little? I like those. Super lights I used on the crossover. I like those. Yeah, it comes all around the side. Kind of panoramic window lights. Very strange. Not that I can complain. And you can go there. Hopefully being mirrored on the other side as well. Because we have a lot of gases to let out. And where do we have the plates? We have the... Yeah, let's just go with a completely deceiving plate. It's that kind of car, it plays jokes on you. But they're always dad jokes that aren't very good. So, have we got any 4x4s here? We have indeed. Move it forwards. Right, we need to move the grill back, I think. No, I can't have one on the front then. Looks like that grill just absorbs anything. What else have we got? Ah, we've got the trim, awkward trim that needs to be done. So you can window trim. There we go. We can have the brake calipers. We can have them painted in the same colour as the car because magic reasons. So, have we just did the brakes? I think we did actually. I think we did that a while ago. We can go and add some mirrors. They would have to be flipped around though. Like so. Very odd mirrors for an MPV, but if it works, so what's the problem? Add chrome. Oh wait, are we building a sport car? I've just realised that maybe we shouldn't be doing chrome. Wait, there we go. And so we need the we need the colours. There we go. Sorry, my mind's just thinking right now of all of the things to do. Yeah, let's have it entirely enveloped in carbon fibre. That'll look good, for sure. Actually, no, it doesn't. It looks pretty terrible. Just having that much carbon on it. We can have plastic, though. And the wheels... where are they? Need to find them. Please show me where they are. There we go. No, it's not got carbon fibre wheels. We could go with brutal black, though. Yeah, look at that. Actually, ooh, I've had another idea. I've had a brilliant idea that probably isn't brilliant, but you know. Look at this. So much carbon fibre for something that isn't actually a performance vehicle. There we go. So there we go. It's done. Or is it? Now it's done. We've got just so much carbon fibre. And we need a bit more. I think I moved these by accident. But they're fine in that position anyway. Right. That can be put on the bumper because we need a handle. Or a set of handles actually, and the fuel cap. Fuel cap can go. This can be carbon fibre. There we go. We need some handles. Do. Nope. It's kind of jumping around a bit. And you don't have keyholes. I think if I move that, it's a very odd way to do things, but I'm thinking actually, no, that looks bent. Look, that looked like someone had rotated it. If I have one of these that's not mirrored, or my opportunities, yep, I want that. I want it to kind of be openable like that. It's odd, but, you know, so is the whole vehicle. We need carbon on the door handles. And here as well. We need carbon here. There we go. So, time to sort the vehicle out in the gearing respects. Oh, I already did that. Or did I? It seems faster now. It's 7.1 to 60. I'm sure it wasn't this quick before. I'm sure it was getting 7.3. Yeah, it was. Must have been. But I must have made some tiny change to it. Must have made it more aerodynamic with those air-grabbing headlights. Like, look. Ooh, so aerodynamic. Anyway, let's go and export this thing if there's not major problems. No, just minor brake fade. Okay. So, here we are at the track. Unfortunately, I've had to record the voice afterwards, as I successfully managed to record the video, but I was stupidly really changing my settings on my PC without testing it first, so I basically got the recording, but I didn't get anything else. Now, as you'll see there, I have cut the video a bit where I kind of had a small crash. I believe it was mainly cosmetic damage, so we're all good and fine there. It is very, very large, this vehicle. Very, very wide and very, very understeery. And you feel it under brakes and you feel it around the corners mainly. I was going full lock into a lot of these corners, just attempting to somehow balance it out. It's no hot hatchback, and there's no way I can pretend it is. It's got a decent chunk of power, sure, but it still isn't going to be the easiest thing to drive with this much understeer. It should probably have had all-wheel drive, to be honest, but I just didn't find it necessary when I was building it to put all-wheel drive on. And then later on, so all-wheel drive has come into its own, as it hasn't really been fit to the car. It's come into its own, which is also, you know, kind of a problem. As far as the time, the inline-six MPV, as I've called it, has done quite well. It has done a 1:11.42 on time, as I almost go off the course, but not quite. It's below a Civic Type R, or somewhere around there. Haven't got the precise time for the Civic Type R listed yet. And the V6 Quarter Duo sports car thing is just above. So we've beaten that. I mean, in its own respect, it's an impressive time for an MPV. But if only it didn't have so much understeer, it could have got around corners better. And I believe I've got a differential. It's not like I've got an open differential or something, struggling to help put power down. It's got the necessary parts. It's just not got the tuning, I guess, and the all-wheel drive that it really should have to help it get around the course. I mean, perhaps someday I will build a properly quick MPV. Perhaps I'll do a automation challenge even of it, like how fast can I get an MPV? Remember that crossover I had? I think that's the fastest car. Yes, indeed, the fourth fastest actually, as of now. So that is a quick car in its own right, but this one is not as quick, because it's not got the power, it's not got the wide tyres or anything, but it could be turned into a monster like that. So I guess if you really want to see an MPV monster, like, leave a comment for it, because this is This is one that's kind of reasonably practical, and one that's reasonably effective at being an MPV, but also has sportiness on the side. Whereas that MPV there, no miles per gallon, but all the power, or 2400 plus horsepowers of it, so that was a wild, wild vehicle. I mean, I think the suspension on this was kind of firm, but not too bad. As you'll see, it is bouncing around just a bit, and we do have enough power. It is a heavy vehicle, we can't deny that though. Again, it's no hot hatchback, which would be a lot lighter, and would get quicker moving. But anyway, as I'm going to crash here, I think, actually. Oh, almost went across the line. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here, and say goodbye until another day.